prophet is not without honor, except in their native place, among their own kin, and in their own house. Mark 6, verse 4. Hearing this verse, it reminds me of how I became a chaplain, how anxious I was to call myself a chaplain. I remember even saying, a chaplain, a lay chaplain. It means I offer empathic support. I call a priest, and I offer grief support. I was very anxious with my title, but with time, I began to realize that the Spirit calls me, that it's not so much my own story, my own history, and how I became a chaplain, but it's more so that the Spirit calls me to be in that moment with those that are experiencing profound grief. This is similar to our lectionary reading today. Our lectionary reading is from Ezekiel. It's when the Spirit enters Ezekiel and moves him to prophesy. That very same Spirit, I believe, is present in the church, creatively unfolding itself to all people, renewing and transforming the church and giving courage to all its people. I believe this same kind of courage can be seen in Bishop Matthew Clark's pastoral letter. It's titled, "The Fire and the Thorn Bush." And Clark says, quote, "It is entirely possible that the Spirit of God is even now granting the church at large and our local church true prophets, men and women, through whom the Spirit of God will inspire and renew us. No one of us can claim on personal authority that he or she does not possess this gift of prophecy, nor can any one of us claim from God's hands this extraordinary power. But all of us, bishops and housewife, priest and layperson, monk and religious woman, can and must be open to its advent among us." End quote. So I wonder when you're misunderstood, like Jesus was in his hometown of Nazareth. I wonder when you are asked, where does your authority come from? What will be your response? For me, I found that my authority, comes from the call. That just as the Spirit entered Ezekiel, so too has the Spirit entered me, and I believe each of you, through the Sacrament of Baptism. Baptism, you were marked by the Spirit. You were anointed with oil as a sign of consecration to God. By being anointed, you join with Christ in a threefold mission of prophet, priest, and king. This means that as a prophet, you are a messenger sent by God to speak the word to the world. In a similar way that the major prophet Ezekiel, you are tasked with sharing the word of God to all people, even those that have predetermined that they will not hear the message because of the messenger's gender, sexuality, age, race, or even personal faith. God reminds Ezekiel and each of us that others may reject a prophet's word or ability to prophesy, even though the Spirit has called and ordained them. I believe that through the passage of Ezekiel in Mark 6, God is showing that our efforts matter. And what matters most of all is our response to the call. That God calls us, and our response is so important. That's what truly matters. I believe that above all, our presence speaks realities. It speaks of the mystery moving and drawing its people closer and closer to God. Our second commission from our baptismal vow is the call to be priest or priestess. It's essentially the call to be a mediator between God and human beings. In Genesis 2, Eve, who was made from the side of Adam, showing equality with Adam, was made to serve and care for the garden, therefore having authority with the world. This commission to serve and guard is pastoral. It means to serve one another. Our third and our final commission is a call to be king or queen. Adam and Eve, who were first ordained, or first crowned, to have dominion with all creation, meaning to serve others well. For us, today, this can mean justly exercising loving authority, justly serving as a campus minister, being a parent, a teacher, a police officer, being a coach or a mentor. As baptized Christians living out diverse roles in the world, we are supposed to be kings and queens over ourselves, over our own thoughts, over our own intentions and our own hearts. And through Jesus' coming and the sacrament of reconciliation, we are freed from sin, and we are shown ways to reintegrate with creation in our communities. On this 4th of July, let us show gratitude as we remember those that act or have acted as mediators, as priests, priestesses, prophets, kings and queens, especially those that have acted in ways of social justice, ensuring security, an end to war, and have offered health care amidst the pandemic. Let us remember those that gave their life, their career, and serving for a greater cause, for freedom, for hope, and for health and well-being. Let us honor the intentions and prayers offered through the Usccd, Religious Freedom Week, an international campaign that invites all to prayerfully reflect and act in ways of solidarity that promote religious freedom for the Church and for all religious communities, so that their faith may be lived out in generosity and witnessed publicly. As we go forth into the world as Church, let us remember our baptismal call, that we are called to be prophet, priest, priestess, king and queen, remembering that we are not responsible for the response of our ministry or how others perceive our ministry, but rather we are held responsible for our own faithfulness in carrying out God's call to minister to all living things. Go freely in peace and love, and may the Spirit of the living God fall afresh on us.